we're caught in a dysfunctional relationship between us, Scalpers, and Wizards of the Coast. I know you don't want to have a relationship with Scalpers, neither do I. Here we are. And that relationship is that Wizards of the Coast loves Scalpers, loves them, want to marry them, wants to be their best friend, loves the Scalpers, does everything they can to support the Scalpers. But they don't want you to like Scalpers. They don't want me to like Scalpers. Contraire, they want us to hate Scalpers. So what kind of relationship is that? And then the poor Scalpers are just caught in the middle of everything. So let's break it down here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Nick, and I'm about to get to 1,000 subscribers. And when I do, I'm going to give away that box of Secrets of Strixhaven. I'm also going to give away this pack of Spider-Man, and I'll give away another like card or something that's really cool. I think there's going to be 3 prizes. And stay tuned. So subscribe, and then stay tuned, because once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to have a giveaway video, and then you'll need to comment on that video to enter in, and be a subscriber to enter in for the giveaway. So anyways, thanks for watching. So let's break this down now. First things first, we need to define a scalper. This is something that we do in political philosophy, actually, all the time. I got a double major. I did a capstone in political philosophy along with my major in economics. So what do you know? I also did a capstone in international relations about nuclear weapons. That's something fun to study, especially in now. Anyway, the SALT treaty is expired. We no longer have binding contracts with Russia. Not that they're ever like really binding, but anyways, we're really far from the point of this video. So political philosophy, you define things. You gotta come up with the definitions for what things are, and then you use that to build arguments, and you go from there. What is a scalper? And this is like the Socrates, like, what is whatever, right? But what is a scalper? And we can play this fun game. So, think to yourself, like, what is a scalper? What do you define as a scalper? Because somebody might say, oh, a scalper is just anybody who resells, right? Anyone who buys something from somebody and then sells it is a scalper. And it's like, okay, well, that's what game stores do. So, now we're talking in the context of Magic the Gathering. Like, Magic the Gathering stores, a lot of them will buy not just from distribution, but even from like TCG Player. They'll buy products and then sell them again to people. But do we think of stores as scalpers? Well, no, I don't think so. Like, a store is not a scalper. A store is a store. So that's not a good definition. Okay, what about people who buy stuff and sell it? So you can't be a store. If you're a store, you can't be a scalper. But anybody who buys something and then sells it is a scalper. Okay, well, I, had a kind of nasty Y'shtola deck, and I played cards like this, like Grim Tutor, which isn't the nastiest of all cards, but that gives you the vibe for the deck. It was a powerful deck. And I've played this deck many times with my friends, and I'm bored. I'm sick of it. And now I want to sell the cards. Am I a scalper? And it's like, well, no, you're not a scalper. You are kind of like a reseller, but it's not like you bought that Grim Tutor with the intention of reselling it. You didn't really scalp it. So no, you're not a scalper. Okay, well, we're still working on our definition. So maybe a scalper is somebody who just buys something that's scarce and resells it. Maybe. Okay, so like, let's break down what happens if you buy something and it's worth it to you for like $150, just pulling out a random number. Let's say you buy something for $150 and to you it's worth $150. But then somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I will give you $700 for that thing. What do? Well, you're like, yeah, I'll take $700. And so you give up the thing you bought for $150 and you take the $700. Are you a scalper? Well, maybe, but also you might just be somebody acting with rational choice, saying like, hey, this isn't worth $700 to me. It's only worth $150. And apparently people are willing to pay $700 for it. So I'm going to give it up for $700. By the way, what I'm alluding to is the Goblin Storm Secret Lair, but more about that later. So is that person a scalper? Well, I think some people would think of that person as a scalper, but I don't think so. I don't think that that's a good definition of scalper. If you buy something because you think it's cool, but then somebody's like, hey, I want that more than you do. Can I give you money in exchange for it? It doesn't really feel like scalping, because the reality is you just want it less and you're willing to trade it for cash. Like, what you going to do? I mean, anyways, you get it. Like, people who open up the Soul Stone, the super shiny, specially chocolate fudge coated version, and sell it, they're not scalpers. They just like the money more than the thing. that they open in a pack. Anyways, getting a little away from myself. But okay, let's say for our definition of scalper, you have to do it in mass. You have to show up to Costco with a shopping cart. You have to be at your computer with the bots ready. Like, you got to do it. It's got to be an organized in mass in order for you to be considered a scalper. Okay. Let's play this out. So a scalper goes, and a scalper buys all of the Spider-Man packs. Okay. Well, the Spider-Man packs didn't go up. The Spider-Man packs went down in price. If I was more prepared, I'd have the graph up, but I can give you a preview. The graph goes down, down. down. So the people who scalped the Spider-Man collector booster boxes or the play boxes or whatever, back when the set first came out, the price went down, 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 lost money. Well, guess what? You're an evil scalper. You got what you deserved, right? Fair enough. Now, the evil scalpers, they bought Lorne Eclipsed, and the price it hasn't just gone up, but the price did go up for a time, and the scalpers sell it. And now they sell it, and they made money. Did they get what they deserved? No. They're evil scalpers. Okay. But the thing is, they did get what they deserved, right? And so let's take the emotion out of it. Let's take a step back and say, like, what is a scalper? A scalper is somebody who buys something with the intent to resell. And scalpers, just from like an economic standpoint, they serve a couple functions. And let me take a step back real quick, because it's like, oh, you're defending the scalpers, blah, blah, blah. I'm explaining reality. Like, let's take all pretense out of it. And it's not me trying to sound condescending, but if you sit there and say, like, I understand everything about how the world works, and I'm not going to learn anything new today, then I don't suggest watching my content. Okay, there we go. Lost a subscriber. So what does a scalper do? They add liquidity to the market. They go and buy things, thinking that the price is going to go up. There was an AJR concert in my close by where I live in Norfolk, Virginia, in the United States of America. And there were scalpers that bought a bunch of those tickets with the intent to resell. And guess what? There were plenty of tickets available. Even after the scalpers got through, there's tons of tickets available. Scalpers just lost money. And they kind of got bailed out because that concert got canceled and got rescheduled. And maybe, but man, that second round, I doubt that the scalpers were buying the tickets, right? But the thing is, those scalpers were really doing AJR a solid by buying those tickets. And by the way, I went to that concert. AJR is awesome. Love their music. It's great. Haters can hate. So what did the scalpers do? They provided liquidity, right? AJR is like, sweet, thank you for the money. Have fun with the tickets. And then the scalpers are like, okay, now I've got tickets and hopefully I can exchange these for more money. But the original producers of the item, which in this case was AJR with their concert tickets, are very pleased to get those concert tickets and book it, right? And the scalpers now have these tickets. So what do the scalpers do? They're adding liquidity into the initial market. They are able to exchange cash for goods right from day one to help give the initial producer of the item money. Now, what do scalpers do for the buyer's side? Well, let's explain something they don't do. They don't make prices go up. This is a big misconception. If you buy something with the intent to sell it, you cannot make prices go up because you're selling it. And if you're selling it for a market price, then the market dictates what the price is, not you. Unless you have market power, unless you are able to scalp every single item, then you could have market power and you'd have some power to price manipulate. Or if you're in some kind of cartel, like an organized group that's able to accumulate such a large enough market share that you can dictate pricing, in those cases, yes, there's some price control going on, and economists generally believe that that's bad. That's a bad thing when there's price control and a group has kind of like monopoly power. That's generally inefficient for an economy. It does not bring welfare to people in general. So interesting, right? So, but for the average scalper who's buying something, who's not going to hold on to it for forever, they need to sell it, right? That's the point, is to make money. Then they can't raise the price. you could imagine maybe if there's enough scalpers and they're all trying to hold, in the short run, they could raise the price, but in the long run, they're not going to, because they're going to sell, and they're going to sell at market price, whatever that is. So scalpers aren't raising the price. Scalpers are actually taking on a lot of risk, right? And this doesn't make them a good person or anything like that. I would, heaven forbid, would not defend a scalper. But they take on risk by buying something immediately, hoping that they can resell it and make a profit. They're adding liquidity. Okay, let's get into magic examples. This is all over the place with secret layers, right? If you have been around the game for very long, you know that there's lots of secret layers that have sold out very quickly thanks to scalpers. What you might not know or know less of is that the scalpers do not always get the bag. I mean, I remember explaining to one of my close friends that the Hatsune Miku secret layer sold out quickly. And of course, his reaction was like, well, of course it did. It's this anime girl or whatever, which, by the way, isn't she like 15? Isn't it kind of weird that, like, anyways, whatever, not past the point of this video. So the scalpers did buy the Hatsune Miku secret layer. It did sell out quite quickly. And it's like, which one, right? There's like 3 different ones that came out, and the first one and the second one sold out way quicker than the third one. And you know why? It's because the scalpers got burned on the first one and the second one. And by the third one, the scalpers were like, we're not doing this anymore. So it's just an example. This doesn't make them good people. It just makes them lose money. It makes them losers, is that they bought something and the price did not go up. The demand did not go up. People were breaking these down for singles and selling the singles. You know, I know because a friend of mine told me. It just wasn't a profitable enterprise. Something else, like the SpongeBob SquarePants secret layer. That was one that sold out quite quickly. A lot of scalpers involved. And immediately they're selling it on eBay and wherever, losing money. Or breaking even, you know, and kind of wasting their time or losing money on shipping and fees or whatever. And so it's not just a like slam dunk thing. It's not like, oh, scalpers just make all the money. It's like, well, no, scalpers make all the risk. They take all the risk, and then they exchange their money for goods in the hope that those goods will go up. But they don't know that. Nobody knows that. Even with the Goblin Storm secret layer, where it's like, no, obviously it's going to do really well and go up. We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that for sure. Now, the only way it wouldn't go up is if there wasn't enough printed. And if you have faith in Wizards as a company and as a strategic organization, you know they're not going to print that many of them. So we kind of knew that the Goblin Storm secret layer was going to sell out. But anyways, but scalpers work is kind of like a bailout, right? For Wizards of the Coast. Scalpers bail out Wizards of the Coast from bad products. And I mean, we've seen this recently with the Chaos Vault. The Chaos Vault has come out with all kinds of really mediocre products that don't have great secondary value, and they've just sold out quickly. And a lot of it is not, I shouldn't say a lot of it, because that makes it sound like a majority, but scalpers are involved there. Scalpers are giving Wizards of the Coast their money, saying, hey, I trust you, Wizards. This is going to be a great product. And Wizards says, yeah, thanks for the money. See you later. It's incredible. Wizards loves scalpers. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I've referenced it a couple times, but the Goblin deck, the Goblin Storm deck, $150 for $250 of cards. Everybody wants it. And why does everyone want it? Well, I think everyone wants it because everyone wants it. Like, if you take a look at the deck list and the cards that are in there, and the theme of the deck, Goblin Storm, we're going to storm off with goblins? That's not a thing. Yes, I know Empty the Warrens is a card, but goblins have never been known for storm. And so it's like, oh, well, it's a clever commander deck. Yeah, but it's also just a poorly made commander deck. It's not good. It's not good. Now, I understand, like, let me be careful. You, viewer, who are listening or watching, you are one of the good people that bought the Goblin Secret Lair deck because you like the cards and you think every card in there is just awesome and you're going to play it and it's going to be great. But there are other people out there, not you. Maisie, calm down. There are other people out there, not you, that really don't actually like the deck. They don't like the theme. They don't care for the art. And it's not like they don't like it. They like Magic cards, so they do like all those things. They just don't love them. But the reason they want the deck is because everybody wants the deck. And I promise you, that's the majority of people out there, myself included. I want the deck. Why do I want the deck? Because everyone wants the deck. And so it's not unique. It's just a reality. Scalping. How did scalpers do with this product? Great, right? We've seen the pictures. We've seen the there's, I think it's photoshopped, but it could be real. The like one person listing 7 on TCG Player. And scalpers are having a heyday, right? A lot of these are selling on eBay online, and scalpers are just winning. And the question is, what's going on here? Well, what I think is going on here are a lot of people bought this, and then when they realized that they, for $150, got what could be $500, they're very willing to sell it. Once again, this goes back to the original kind of example from like earlier in this video, which is just this reality that if you buy something for an amount of money, but somebody comes up to you and says, actually, I would like to pay you triple for that, you're probably going to sell because you were willing to buy it for $150. Now somebody's offering you $500. Why not? Why not sell it? Does that make you a scalper? I don't know. But fascinating, right? Did scalpers raise the price? Like we talked about, the price comes from supply and from demand. There's no cartel here. There's no secret group of like thousands of sellers. If you're on Magic YouTube, you know that like there's so many store owners, so many people that have YouTube channels, and they yap about everything. Anything distribution wants to keep secret, it's on YouTube. Like there's just, the information's just free and out there. If there was a secret cabal of secret lair scalpers, we would all find out about it. And maybe I'll eat my words. Maybe a big store will come out and explain about this secret cabal of scalpers that work together and form a cartel, and they're the reason why the price is the price it is. But that seems very unlikely. What's much more likely, what makes a lot of sense, the kind of Occam's razor, the most likely explanation for what's going on here, is that there's not very many of these decks. I mean, it is crazy for it to sell out in 34 minutes and for there to be a limit, 1 per person. That is so few product. In the past, there's been limits of 5 per person, and they've sold out in like, more time, but not too much more time. The number of people that actually got one of these is, I think, strikingly small. The supply is short. And this makes sense, by the way. Wizards of the Coast, when they're trying to make money from something like Secret Lair, and I explained this in a video a few days ago, actually, before the Secret Lair even came out, so good for me, was Wizards has every incentive to underprint it. They need to underprint it so that it sells out, so that it is a demanded, hyped product that will help them sell the next one for either more money or to print more, which for them is the same thing. They'll get more money. And as long as the hype is exponentially greater than the amount they supply, they can continue to raise margins and just ride the wave. They want the hype. So Wizards is incentivized to not print very many. They didn't print very many from all the indicators we can tell. And so when the price is high, who are you going to blame? The scalpers. You kind of see where I'm going, right? Which is that Wizards controls the supply. And if there's any demand for the product, then, and there's a small supply, the price is going to be up there. I could draw the supply demand curve. Comment in the comment section if you want me to draw more supply demand curves in my videos. So this is really interesting, right? We're getting a story where we want to get angry at and blame scalpers and bots. But we know, as just a matter of reality, that the high price and the reality that you weren't able to get one, even though you wanted to get one, and not because you're an evil scalper, you wanted to get one because you actually wanted to play with it. And sorry, I meant to say that, not condescending. Seriously, you wanted to get one to play with it. It's great. But you didn't get one, and whose fault is that? It's Wizards of the Coast. They could print more. But people aren't blaming Wizards of the Coast. Joel R. Magic did a video to the same effect the other day. And so I'm happy to ride on his coattails a little bit. That the supply is the problem, but instead we're all blaming the scalpers, the bots, anything besides Wizards of the Coast. And that's fascinating because I fall into the same trap. I don't know. I'm not sure I understand exactly why that's the default for us to blame the scalpers. I guess it's because it's more tangible. It's more easy. And it's a good fantasy to think like, oh, if there just weren't these evil people in the world, like I would have all the good products and it'd be great. And somehow everybody would have the good products and they'd still be good products, even though everybody has them. Because certainly scarcity doesn't play any part in my preferences. It's like that would be a really cool mythical world to live in. But no, the world we live in is that Wizards of the Coast holds all the cards and controls everything. The scalpers don't. The scalpers are just the reality, which is that if something's going to get underprinted, people are going to buy it and be willing to sell because the price is actually way higher than the price that they set. The real price, the market price that's determined by supply and demand, is way higher than $150. Turns out it's like $500, $600. That's the real price. Wizards could sell it for that. And if Wizards did, Wizards could guarantee that every person who bought it actually wants it. If you sell something for less than it's worth, you're going to get way more people interested than the people who just want it. If I have my car and I sell my car for $10, suddenly, you think like, oh, I'm going to do some poor person a big favor by selling them a $10 car. This is going to be so great. No, I would buy your car for $10 and I'm not a poor person. Like anybody would buy it. Every single person in the world is interested in your car for $10. Everybody is, because they know they can immediately sell it for more. And so what has to happen? If I want my car to be bought by somebody who actually wants my car, I have to sell it for the price that it's actually worth at. It's just reality. And so if Wizards of the Coast wanted to guarantee that the people who bought these decks were the people who actually wanted them, they'd have to price them for $500, $600 each. But that's not their goal. That's not what they're doing. What they're hoping is that scalpers will swoop in, give them a bunch of money. They can sell them to scalpers, and the scalpers can sell them for the real price. And then people can get upset at the scalpers and blame the scalpers, while Wizards of the Coast gets to make the real margins. And I mean, scalpers are, for this Goblin Storm deck, scalpers are doing pretty good too. But, Wizards of the Coast is really the one raking in the dough, right? And they don't get the blame. It is the perfect not a crime. This is completely legal, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but it's perfect. It is perfect. So thanks for watching. Once again, subscriber special. Subscribe and be tuned, because once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do that giveaway video and pull up some comments live and, live. Maybe I should do it in my live stream. I don't know. I'll think about that. That would be fun. And, yeah, that is all. Subscribe, and let me know what you think. Subscribe.